it's Cara here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am working in the Dina Wakley Media Ledger Journal, and also I have this amazing image from Collage Soup. It's from the Face It book, which is a collaboration with Claire Stead, or Steed, I'm not sure how you say that, but she's Art Journal Love on Instagram and YouTube, and yes, she's amazing, and she collaborated to create this book and the images are amazing. Anyway, I am starting with just some blue paint. This is Uniform Blue and it is from Finna something. 1 second. It is from, I'm not sure what the paint make is actually, but anyway, it's called Uniform Blue. And then the darker blue is called Midnight Blue. And then I have a purple, which is just from my local little craft shop, you know, like a couple of pounds for like a children's craft paint. I then have a Crafters Workshop stencil. It is TCW 2331, which are these lovely circles. I do love a circle or a dot, and here's another one to prove that. The piece of paper you just saw is my current Use It Up journal paper. I don't have a spare journal at the moment for my Use It Up journal, and if you're not familiar of a Use It Up journal, it's basically where you wipe off your stencils, put any spare paint, so you've got yourself a background started or almost started when you come to do another journal page. So I normally do it in a journal, but I'm doing it on some loose leaves from Canson at the moment because I don't have a spare journal. So the second circly stencil that I used is just a cheapie set stencil. Oh, let's get my words out, Cara. It's just various little circles. I believe it came from like somewhere in America, like a little, either the Dollar Tree or one of those. Then I used a dotted lines stencil, which is definitely from America. I believe I got that in a pack from Michael's or Joann's. And then I go on top of that using the lines out of a Dina Wakley Media stencil called Marks. And what I do with that is I use it both ways around. So I use the lines horizontally and vertically to create like a little bit of cross hatching with white to bring some light into the page. Oh, the cheap circle stencil I went in with magenta. I've left that sort of square of white in the bottom left-hand corner there purely because I know my image is going to go there, so there's no point popping paint all behind that for my image to sit on. I'm now going in with some cheap, from the sort of cheap craft section for kids, neon pink paint, just with my finger, just smushing it around. I do love a bit of neon, so yeah, just smushing it around in a few places, kind of where I've done the stenciling as well, to overlap them and tie them all together, make my page a little bit more cohesive. And then I've got this darkroom door stencil. It's a DDMS009, and it's got some amazing words in it, you know, happiness, laugh, smile, fun, live your life, on top of the world. It's just really great positive words, and this image from Collage Soup is such a smiley, happy image that these words I felt fit perfectly for it. So I just wanted a few of those in the background. I do like a bit of text in my background, so I just went through with a white paint. I think actually I used Gesso, just with a little bit on my sponge, and just added some of those words into the background. And now I've grabbed out a piece of just regular drawing paper from, I've got it in a little book, but regular copy paper would do, you know, like what you load your printers with. I just decided that some of these words would be perfect to use as sentiments, so I'm just going through the stencil again with a little bit of lamp black on my sponge, just to get some of those words that I think I might want to use, and I will dry those and cut them up for later to pop onto my page. Just a little sort of tip when stenciling, don't overload your sponge. I've done it a few times, and I believe I did it here and couldn't use one of the words because of the same reason. You need the sort of tiniest amount of paint on your sponge to go through these stencils, otherwise it will seep underneath your stencil and ruin, especially if you've got words, would ruin that. Now, if it was under the circles, you might not worry about it so much, but obviously you need your words to be crisp so you can read them. So almost like you've barely got any paint on your sponge is my tip for that. And also, once I've loaded up the sponge, I kind of dab it off onto my palette a little bit as well, just to help with, you know, getting rid of some of that excess paint. So here you can see I realised I haven't put my background further enough across the page, and you can actually see quite a bit of the white, which would look very strange once I put my image on. So I've just gone back in with a little bit of that uniform blue, a little bit of the magenta pink, and here I am going back in with the same stencils I used just to tie it in so it doesn't look like I've missed it out too much. Again, that was the Dina Wakley stencil. So there I am again, popping my image on. You can see what I mean. This image is just so joyful. I am using a Bic glue stick to stick this image in place, and I have got a piece of kitchen roll just to help me burnish it to the page. I do this for sort of one real reason, because I've done this before. I've smudged a bit of paint from my finger all over my image before. So now I tend to try and do it with a little bit of kitchen roll, just in case I've got paint or ink on my fingers. Now that my image is stuck down, just want to bring that background round to the side, just so it don't look like I've got these three ladies slapped onto the corner of my page. So again, I've gone back in with the same colours, the Midnight Blue, the Uniform Blue, the purple and the magenta. Smear it on with my fingers to kind of blend it into that image. And again, a little bit of that stenciling again, so it looks like my images are coming through the background rather than being stuck onto my background. I even put some in the hair and in those background darker parts. So where the image has got the shading, I put a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue in there. And as you can see, I even brought the stenciling down. So it does look like now that my ladies are kind of popping out of my page rather than being stuck on. Now I've grabbed my Dina Wakley Media Scribble Sticks, and I decide to add a little bit of colour to the ladies' lips. I don't want to be too dark, so I'm dabbing some of the water off and some of the colour off on that kitchen towel. It looks like I'm trying to hide my scribble stick. I'm not trying to hide my scribble stick. I'm just using the kitchen towel to dab off some water and some of that colour. So I believe I'm using magenta here. I also add it very watered down to the cheeks of the ladies, because, you know, if you were laughing this hard, you'd have rosy cheeks, and that's what I wanted my ladies to have. It looks like there's a big stripe through one of the ladies' cheeks there. It doesn't look like that on my finished page. It might just be the light from my camera. I then go in and add some turquoise and some sky to the ladies' upper eyelids, just to give them a bit of eyeshadow, a little bit of makeup, and to kind of help tie in with the blues in the background as well. I did like what this did to the image. I actually thought, oh yeah, there I am showing you the colours. I actually thought this was quite a good idea. I've now grabbed some ruby just to add a little bit more darkness to those lips. I felt the pink was, the magenta was a little bit too light. So I grabbed some ruby to add over the magenta, and that actually brought the lips to life a lot more than just the magenta did. Now I'm strategically placing, some dirty kitchen roll so that I can do some splatter. So I had some black on my palette, and as you can see, I put a big splosh of black somehow, I think from the bottom of my palette into the middle of that page. But luckily I got it while it was still wet, grabbed a bit of kitchen roll and got that off my page before it ruined it, and just continued to add my black splatter. Now I've just put down a little tiny piece of, I'm going to call it cellophane. It's basically, it's packaging from Stencils, you know, that plastic that everything comes in. I save it and I use it if I can, because, you know, there's so much going into landfill these days. So anyway, what I've done is I've primed my Lumocolor paint pen in white, just to get me enough to give me some splatter. Now I'm using my two favourite stamps. They are both from Paper Artsy. They are Tracy Scott stamps designed by Tracy Scott. TSM01 is the mini, which is lots of tiny little dots. And then the script stamp is from TS065. There they are. They are my most used stamps for sure. Then I've grabbed this other little tiny heart stamp, which is also from Tracy Scott, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to add hearts to their cheeks. I quite often add hearts to cheeks, or to, if they're full figures, to kind of like their chest area. And I just thought that was brilliant. I loved how it looked once I'd finished. I then grab a just a regular pencil and my black fine liner to add a few more sort of strands to the hair. And here I am just with that white paint pen again, just tidying up some of the black, as I mentioned, the black lettering. As I mentioned, it went a little bit under my stencil, so I've used the white to cover up where it went under, and I've also used a black Posca pen to tidy up where it didn't quite stencil correctly. Also, because these are stenciled letters, obviously you get like the line through the middle of the O and the R and the D. So what I'm doing is joining them up to make them full letters rather than sort of stenciled letters. So I just wanted to do that because I wanted to use these on the other page from the ladies to just put some words on, not necessarily a quote, but words. So those are my two Poscas, white and black. And I think I'm now going to cut these words out. So I just cut out a few of the words. I don't think I used them all in the end. I think I put smile, laugh, and it might be fun on the page, or it might have been the enjoy, and then life is fun I put down the bottom, I believe. So yeah, I do. I use laugh, smile, enjoy, and then life is fun at the bottom. And I'm just going to stick, first of all, I'm going to, what you can't see me doing is I've got a sponge and I'm dipping it in my ink pad and I'm just going around the edge just to give the paper a little black edge. I think I do that around the edge of the entire page when I'm finished, and there I am cleaning the ink off my hand so that I don't get it everywhere, which is a very common trick of mine. So yeah, I'm going to just stick those down with my glue stick. The page is quite flat, there's no like texture paste or anything, so these stick easily with a glue stick. And there I am using my tissue again to make sure they're stuck down. Even though I've cleaned my fingers, I'm just being careful. So once these are stuck down, I think I edge my page with that black ink, get rid of all my water pots, and cutting off, just trimming off the edges there of the girls, the ladies. And yes, I'm going to edge the whole page with my black ink and just the sponge. So I go all around the edges of the page just to add a little border type around my page. I kind of do this or lines quite often. So here's a few close-ups for you. You can really see the scribble sticks and the hearts there. And that's my page finished. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please give me a thumbs up to help my channel grow. That I really much appreciate that. And I will see you again Friday for your Friday Art Focus. Bye-bye.